And so Jeff's going to talk to us about how you can dominate a geographic area with the use of social media. And so Jeff's a video and social media expert and a regional vice president at USA Mortgage, where his primary roles is business development. He does coaching, teaching, hosting events, and is really just a blessing to be with you today, Jeff. Welcome. How are you?
Thanks, man. It's good to be here.
I'm glad
Looking
that you're
forward to
here as
sharing.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So dominating a geographic area with the use of social media. Tell us more.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the short long story. As you mentioned, my past is the mortgage business. I'm still in it, but very removed from it. And part of the reason is because of that influence that I've built. And it all started for me back in about 2016 when we switched companies. And I was trying to figure out, as we vacated the company who has market share in my market to a company that was unknown. And I was trying to figure out, how am I going to compete with, who were my peers and are now going to be my competition. And this is right about the time Facebook Live was coming out. And so I just leaned in. I saw something, I saw an opportunity, started doing video, and one thing led to another. It created opportunities, introductions, got me found on a national level, and it opened the door. And from video, it led, of course, how am I going to broadcast this to the most amount of people? And of course, obviously, that was social media. And here we are. And I've just kind of leaned into it. And part of the reason why is what I figured out, Dan, is that I've been in the business since 2000. And so on the mortgage side, as everybody can attest to, my target is real estate agents. Right. And so, as we all know, it's near impossible to get a real estate agent's attention unless I have my credit card in my hand. And that's just the reality. Right. And so what I had to figure out, and what I stumbled upon and figured out, was that how can I bring them value that is value for their business? And if I'm hanging my hat on, programs and accessibility and all that kind of stuff, it's not good enough, because we're a dime a dozen. And that's the biggest mistake that real estate agents make, is that we go to social and we want to talk about our latest listings and take pictures at closings and talk about money market updates and all the things, right? And not fully understanding that the audience that we're trying to reach, which is buyers and sellers, don't care. So you, as a real estate agent, as much as you don't care about how much lenders talk about lending stuff, because it's just expected, right? We have a license. We're supposed to know what to do. We're supposed to answer our phone on Sunday at 3:00. And if we don't, you're going to call somebody else. And so from a real estate agent perspective, understanding that your customer avatar doesn't care about your latest closing, about your latest listing, about your open house. They don't care. And so how do you touch them? How do you reach them? How do you bring them real value? And so, it's now today I spend actually more time coaching and content creation. I specifically focus on the real estate industry. So it is loan officers, it's brokers, because I'm really good at getting agents' attention. So brokers want that. And like I tell real estate agent audiences, because I travel a lot and speak a lot. And I tell agents, I'm like, I'm standing on this stage in front of you, not because I put my credit card up. Actually, you're paying me to be here. If I can figure out how to get on a stage where you're my target audience and I'm being paid to be here, I think I can teach you how to get in front of your audience. And so that's kind of how I kick it off. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you, what does the consumer care about? The
Why are
buyer,
they
the
why are
buyers
they
and
on
sellers.
why are they on social? And so let's digress and realize that this is what did I just say? It's social media. And at some point in time, we as an industry decided that we were going to turn it into spam media, to business media. It's never changed. Nothing's ever happened that made that change other than running ads, which is designed for spam, right? We decided to take authentic content on our personal pages and spam and talk about our business, and stopped and failed to realize that nobody actually cares. And so the answer to your question is, why is your consumer on social media? Why do they roll over in the morning and open up Facebook or Instagram as the first thing they did in the morning, or TikTok? Why do they go and sit down on the couch, turn on the television, lay back on the couch, and get on their phone? Because that's our new sitcom. That's what we do now. We don't watch Seinfeld anymore. And why do we go hide in the bathroom and sit on the toilet for 30 minutes? scrolling social media. Why are they doing that? And it's never because they thought to themselves, man, I really can't wait to see what my local real estate agent.
I hope Dan did another deal.
Bingo. Exactly. And they're there for mindless entertainment. They're there for connection. They're there to feel connected to people. I think our society's changed, especially over the last 5 to 10 years, where it was all about, you know, the Kardashian style. It was all about what's this dream life. And as you can kind of notice, like that stuff's kind of shifted, and now it's much more authenticity. I think people go to social to feel like they're not a failure, and they feel more connected to somebody who has a relatable life. And so, you know, if you own French bulldogs and you open up Instagram, every third post is a French bulldog. If you're a golfer, every third post is Zaire golf. And I'm speaking from my personal experience because I am those things. And so it's like you've got to just be more cognizant of understanding why the consumer is there. Now, there are some specific strategies you can employ that drive more back to your business than just, you know, that you enjoy baking. But the reality is you're going to get the attention of more of an audience by doing the things that make you a human, like being an avid tomato grower. Then, you know,
I gotta tell you, did I tell you about my tomato plants?
You have not. So did I just hit something here with you?
Check out my IG for the tomato plants.
Listen, I have a loan officer in rural Georgia, and I've been pushing her for years, and she's an avid tomato grower. It's a year-long process with germination. I never knew all this stuff, right? I'm not an avid tomato grower. I don't have a garden. But I told her, I said, I'm telling you, Amanda, you lean into this and watch. And sure as shit, she has. And now she gets more engagement, having more conversations, meeting new people because they follow her because of her tomato growing tips. And I'm like, this is why we overthink this stuff. It's like, just lean into the things that you're already doing, because doing social is hard. Coming up with consistent creative content is hard. So stop making it hard and just start documenting what you're doing every single day. And it's kind of the name of the game, man.
Yeah, I find that the things that get a lot of engagement for my socials, you know, things, anything that has to do with, like, I don't know, kids, pets, things that people love, right? Like, you know, Jeff, you and I, not that this is true, right? But you and I could, you know, on an online world, not, you know, like, get along. But you post your dog, you post your kid, hey, you know, now I'm in love with that kid or that dog, and you as a dad.
Yeah.
Right. And that's at least been what my experience has been. Is that aligned with what you're sharing today?
1,000,000%, man. And I'll tell you the story too. This started for me because when I started doing that video, and I was doing Facebook, and because that back then, you know, 6-7 years ago, it really was only Facebook, and I was boring myself. And I still remember one of those moments was I had a daughter. She's now 20, but she's one of the daughters who taught me a lot of this stuff. They taught me the editing. I just paid attention to what they were doing. And she was 13 at the time, and she was making slime and selling it on Etsy. She's my little entrepreneurial kid. And I was like, you know what, Isabel, let's go live on Facebook, actually make the slime, and then peddle your Etsy. Like, let's just see, you know, let's just have some fun with it. And that video performed so well, got so much engagement, so much relatability from so many people saying, oh my God, my kids are just like you. Oh my God, my kid's doing the same thing. And it was that light bulb moment for me. Like, I just realized, wow, I just triggered the algorithm. And now I can post something that's insanely boring about mortgages, but it's going to get seen. It's not going to get engaged, but it's all about stoking the algorithm. And we fail to realize or understand that you could post every single day about your real estate. And you know, Dan, if you give me 100 real estate agents who only post about real estate or primarily post about real estate, I could review their profiles, and probably 98 to 99% of them are getting almost zero engagement. You know, 1 to 2 likes, maybe a comment. And it's because you haven't stoked the algorithm. And so you're literally, exactly. Or their spouse or their broker, right? You're wasting your time. And so if you don't understand the concept of stoking the algorithm, you're wasting your time. Don't do it.
So you want to stoke the algorithm by posting things that people will engage in, and then sort of slip in there from time to time something that's business oriented. Is that what I understand you're saying?
Yeah, bingo. And the title to this is so I'm living proof of this. So what happened was, you know, how to dominate a geographic area, right? And so we were talking offline before we started that I live in St. Louis, and there's really not a whole lot to do here. I have a second home at the Lake of the Ozarks, which has become very well known as a result of this show, which actually wasn't even shot there in the first place. And then it became extra well known after COVID, because COVID doesn't exist there. So anybody who is of the same mindset is like, I need to move there, right? And so it's become a very hot area. Now, I have been a second homeowner there since 2012, and I practice what I preach. So I was specifically on TikTok. I was posting just whatever's happening in my life, my kids, social media tips, video tips, whatever, right? But also sprinkling in Lake of the Ozarks when I'm there. And over a number of years, I was just watching that stuff just dominate. It was thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. And it was a year ago, August, when I went to my partner, Tristan Almada, and I was like, dude, like, check out these posts that I recently did about the Ozarks. And he's like, dude, they're killing it. And I'm like, I know. I'm like, here's what I'm doing. And I called him and I said, I want you to kick me in the you-know-whats if I ever post anything that's not Ozarks on my TikTok again. I'm going all in. And I shifted the channel and I changed the name of it to Lake of the Ozarks Lifestyle. I committed to posting every single day. So I batch create a lot of content. I started doing business highlights, all the things, right? Here we are a little over a year later. I now have, I've had multiple brand deals. I get paid to promote products and businesses. And I've posted a bunch of listings, procured buyers for those listings that I've handed to real estate agents. I've had people reach out to me, DM me on other platforms saying, hey, you're the Lake of the Ozarks expert. We're looking to move there. Can you help me with? And mind you, I've never even marketed myself as a realtor. They just say you're the local expert. And then last spring, I was approached by a broker who's got a big brokerage in Kansas City, by the way. And he said, hey, I'm expanding to the lake. I follow you. I love you. I love your content. You have massive influence in this geographic area. Will you partner with me? And so I was handed a 50% ownership in a brokerage because of the influence that I have. And I've attracted 5 or 6 agents over the summer just because of what we're doing. And we're just getting started. And so it's like, I didn't overthink it. I'm just sharing things. I just became the local aggregator of all things in a geographic area. It's lifestyle, it's business highlights, which, by the way, business owners now seek me. Hey, what would it cost me to come out and highlight my business? And I'm like, dude, it's free. Like, and I go there and I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, you are a potential customer. You probably own a home. You might buy a home. I just want you to know this is what I do. And so now I'm doing them a favor. They're now sharing my content. It's growing my audience. And, I just aggregate local news. Something happens like here, yesterday, where's the best place to go look at the fall foliage in the Ozarks? I took green screen pictures of this article from a local aggregator. I did a green screen video and I talked about where to go look at the leaves. Like, this isn't rocket science. But now, and if I looked at that video, several thousand views and a ton of shares. Why? Because it's what people want. It's what they need. It's what, it's like we're overthinking what they want. And they just want to know, where's the trunk or treat? I did that. Where's the trunk or treat this weekend? Like, just be the local aggregator of all things going on in your community, and people will seek you for that advice. And when you're authentic, because here's the other thing I will say, Dan, I have competitors at the Lake of the Ozarks that are better content creators from a professional perspective than me. They've got professional cameras, they got professional drones, they got all the things. But here's what they're not doing. They're not putting themselves in front of the camera. They're not giving their opinion. They're not being authentic. And so I'm outperforming them. I'm outperforming them in terms of analytics because I'm the real one. And yeah, do I get people that I piss off and argue with me and say I'm an idiot? Sure. But that's part of the game.
But that helps the algorithm.
It does. Yeah.
So Jeff, let's go back through here. Let's walk through the thing that you did yesterday with the foliage. Like, where do you go see the autumn, the autumn colors change?
Yep.
And so how long was the video? I know you did it on a green screen. Like, did you do it? Like, talk us through, like, how did you do that, if you could? And how
Well,
long
so
was it? Where did you publish it? Just walk us through the logistics of that.
you got it. So first of all, it was let me tell you, I'll tell you exactly. It was over a minute, and I'll tell you, there's a double strategy because I'm a creator, and I'm in the creator fund on TikTok, so I actually get paid to create content. You only get paid on videos over a minute. So strategically, I try to create as many videos over a minute as I can, but while mixing in the short form because they perform typically better. So this one was probably about a minute to a minute and a half, so 60 to 90 seconds, which is typically my target. And by green screen, by the way, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about inside of the app. There's an effect, and so what you do is you can take a picture, an image, or a video on your phone, and it will put it behind you. So when you're looking at the video, I'm kind of in front of it. All I do is so I went to the article, which was I had to scroll to read it. And there was like 13 suggestions of places to go. I snipped all 13, picture, 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 picture. And then I just put them behind me and just jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut to each one. I said a few words and went to each one. So it was hard to do that one in less than 90 seconds, but that's it, man. It isn't rocket science. It's not overthinking it. Probably once you acquire the skill set, it probably took me about 15 to 20 minutes to put that together.
Okay.
And
so then once you put that together, that went on TikTok. Did it go to any other platforms?
Well, yeah. So since doing this, so I've spent about 10 months all in only on TikTok. As it continued to perform, I said, okay, it's time to spread my seed far and wide. So we started a YouTube channel, we started an Instagram page, we started a Facebook group. All the exact same thing, like the Ozarks lifestyle, just realizing that I might meet people in different places.
Sure.
I hired a VA. She takes all of my TikToks, removes the watermark, and posts them everywhere. The only extra thing I do now is I create one long form per week for YouTube. And so we started all of those channels in late June. My Instagram page has over 1,000 followers in 3 months. My YouTube channel has about 600 subscribers in about 3 months. And so it's very infancy, but as if anybody knows, it's really hard to get to 1,000 followers on Instagram. It's really hard to get subscribers on YouTube. All I'm doing is repurposing. And so I focus on TikTok, and I hired somebody else to help me spread it because that wasn't the best use of my time.
Got it. So you're doing that. So let's say you were more comfortable with Facebook. Would you say that the strategy would work just as well? I mean, assuming that they could edit it into the time frames, because the reels and the shorts, et cetera, need shorter time. But assuming that they could do that, film it like whatever platform you're good with, and then have a VA to edit it from there. Would that work as well?
It's a great question. The answer is yes and no. It's yes that it can be any platform that you choose. However, I'm going to say no to Facebook, and here's why. Facebook is the retirement home of social media apps, right? It's still very relevant. There's still a lot of people there, a lot of 100,000 on Facebook. However, they don't have the tools. So to do exactly what I just described is not possible on Facebook. However, this is why I tell anybody, when anybody asks me, where should I start? My answer is Instagram. And my answer is Instagram because you can kill two birds with one stone to Facebook, but Instagram is a copycat of TikTok, so it has all the tools. So now you have that ability to do that green screen, to do that remix video, to use all these effects that you don't need to have advanced skills to create, and they're right inside of the app. And so that's why I suggest Instagram, not because you're going to grow a big following on Instagram, you're not, but because Instagram talks to Facebook. Create an Instagram, which makes you a better creator. You're going to have better content that'll flow over to Facebook now. Make sense?
Got it. Yeah, absolutely. And then you can repost that on
Anywhere.
TikTok and
everywhere,
Twitter, whatever you want to do. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So you're walking through, and you've been hammering on the one area for a year, did you say, or longer?
Yeah, a little over a year. I started August of last year, so we're now about a year and a few months.
How long do you say, and you doing every day, one piece of content a day or more?
That's my goal, is one a day. Yeah.
Okay. And then you said you're batching some stuff. So
I don't live there, man. I don't live there. So I'm not living there every day. I'm going there more often now than I ever have. Sure. But I mean, honestly, the Lake of the Ozarks, you're in Missouri. So summer is pretty much Memorial to Labor. And that really is lake season, right? And so I'm a weekend warrior in the summer, and then I maybe get down there once a month in the off season. And so I have to batch create content. So when I'm living down there in the summertime, I'm just taking content every which way. For example, I was down there this past weekend. I went and did 3 long form videos. So I scheduled it out. I planned it out. It's getting easier and easier because I'm getting people seeking me now. So it's like, I'm getting more and more context, more and more people seeking me, and I'm planning now my next 2 months worth of content. And so when I say I batch it, so if I'm down there on a weekend in the summer, I know that my camera is always on the ready because I need to have 365 posts. That's my goal.
How long's a long form video?
On YouTube, for me, I shoot for 10 to 15 is ideal, in my opinion. Some of them run up to 20. Some of them maybe a hair short of 10, 7 to 10 minutes. But I'd say 7 to 20 minutes is about optimal.
And do you have a standard format that you follow for that?
As far
as like intro, story, challenge, solve the challenge.
I prefer interviews, so it's more interview style typically.
That'd be like with a business owner, like a restaurant owner, or something like that.
Yeah,
local?
or local, yeah. So if that's the case, the intro is very important. Yes. So how you intro, it's never, hey, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining. I never do that. It's always like, I'm going to tease something that we're going to talk about to get them to stay and want to watch more. And then, or if I fail to do that, I'll go back and watch it and grab something profound, have my editor put it in the front, and then go back into then go into the bullshit interview part, excuse my language. But that's primarily it. I think generally speaking, what you described is important. Hook is by far the most important part of any video, because if you don't hook them, if you don't have something interesting in the beginning and you intro they're not going to watch it anyway. So it doesn't matter how great the story is, right? So, but telling stories is incredibly important. For me, it's more interviews. So it's, what questions can I ask that I think are interesting? And so like I ask a lot of personal stuff of people. It's usually to promote their business, but usually I'll get really personal with them. Like, what's your favorite restaurant? Why is it your favorite restaurant? Were you born and raised here? Tell me about that. Because I think that's what they're like watching a television show. And I think they're just interested in not making it too commercially or too businessy. And so that's really my strategy.
Let's go back to or stay with the YouTube videos rather. So besides the hook, would you say the title and the thumbnail are just as important or more important?
Thumbnail and title to me are the 2 most important things. So in the video, it's the hook.
So it'd be like thumbnail, title, hook, sort of in that order.
It's funny. We were just talking about that this morning because we posted one today, which actually we're a day late. It's usually every Sunday. But my deal today was I was interviewing a property management company. And so my team asks me, and I'll tell you, my team asked me, they said, hey, what should we title this? And they come up with their own stuff. And sometimes they're on and sometimes they're off. They were off today. And I said, make the title, should I rent my property? Right. So it's a question. It gets people thinking like, okay. And then my editor, who makes my thumbnails, it was just, she took a snip of the video and I'm like, that's not clickbaity. Like that's doesn't catch my attention. So I said, what I thought was, I'm like, get like a thinking face of me and then show a condo or a house or both with some dollars like pouring down. And I'm like, that's going to get people thinking like, and it says, should I rent my property? And it gets them thinking, am I missing out on some money making opportunity? So that's the way I think about it. Like, how do you, clickbait's the best way to describe it. I hate the word, but it's true. Like, what's going to get somebody to say, picture catches my attention, the title catches my attention, now I'm going to watch it. And if you do those 2 things well, the hook probably doesn't even matter because now you already they want to know, right? And so to answer your question, I would say the title and the thumbnail are probably the most important things that you can do on YouTube.
What about with the title? Are you more concerned about SEO, or are you more concerned about, because like, should I sell or rent? That's a great SEO title, and it's also a great title for somebody that's just sort of scrolling. But there could be another title that's not going to be great for SEO, but maybe great for clickbaity. So is one more important than the other? Or what are your thoughts about that?
I think my description and my physical title are really my SEO. So I'm less concerned about it on the visual. And I think the visual,
thumbnail and stuff.
yeah, I think your thumbnail definitely needs to be clickbaitier. And I would say the less words, the better. Here's the deal though, and this is a great point. I'm glad you brought it up. My daughters and I debate this all the time. I have a 23-year-old and a 20-year-old.
Well, time out, Jeff. Your daughters are right, just so you know. The 23-year-old's going to beat you. Sorry.
I'll tell you, well, first of all, they do because they look way better in a bikini. Here's the difference to how they think. That generation thinks in terms. So Dan, I assume you and I are probably a similar age. I'm in my mid 40s. And when I was growing up, I wanted to be a professional athlete or I wanted to be a Hollywood actor, right? That's what we wanted. Today's generation wants to be an influencer. So the way they think, everything's about massive influence to be, a Kardashian or to be a Jake Paul or Logan Paul. And
was it Charlie D'Amelio?
Or Charlie D'Amelio, yeah. I have to remind them all the time, that's not my goal. And I tell them, I said, if you are aspiring to be one of those people, you've got a 1 in a million something chance. But if you choose to be a niche influencer, like focus on an industry, you have a much greater chance of growing massive influence. And actually, it's funny. They taught me a lot of what I know. Now I'm reteaching them because they're like, damn, Dad, you're right. This does work. Because originally they're like, you're doing it all wrong. And I'm like, am I? I'm doing it wrong to be Charlie D'Amelio, but I think I'm doing it right to be Jeff Pfitzer in the real estate industry. And they've matured and learned that and understand that now. And I think going back to what we were just talking about, it's not about virality to me. I mean, if I get 1 million followers on YouTube, that's just a bonus, man. I got lucky. That's it. I got lucky. Ultimately, I want to have about 10 to 50,000 subscribers who specifically love and live and stay at the Lake of the Ozarks, because I don't give a shit if somebody loves my content in India or New York. They're not going to feed my business. I'm not going to get rich off monetization. And so it just pays for groceries. And so, and I think that's where a lot of us, like it shifts our focus because we're so enamored and obsessed with views and likes and comments, and those analytics don't necessarily matter.
It's the right views, it's the right people.
Bingo.
And through time, it will build up, right? Because if you just hammer, then you just mentioned, it's like, hey, it was TikTok. Now I'm going to add these other components to it.
Yeah.
Do that for another year. Maybe you may choose to be able to, expand from there. You may not, but you'll have the opportunity for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
What's been your biggest challenge, Jeff, building this?
Discipline to consistency. It's been a lot of learning because I'm all trial and error. And I think that's also why I've gained some influence in the real estate space, because there's a lot of pretenders that tell you what to do, but don't do it themselves. And I'm the opposite. I'm not going to tell you what to do until I try it first and I see if it works. Mm-hmm. And so I think for me, it first was getting past all of the naysayers and the trolls and the haters. And a lot of that was the closest people to you. It's my spouse. It was my family. It was my partners. Like, what are you doing? This is stupid. You're an idiot. You're wrong. You should be talking about business, and just ignoring the noise and moving past it. And, I think still until this day, it's like constantly reminding yourself that consistency trumps that perfection that we're after. And it really is a numbers game. And it's just a top of mind awareness. It's mind share. I really believe, Dan, that the future of our world as it relates to all business is all about attention. And the ones who own attention drive the bus. They're going to be the ones in control of these businesses. And, it's why Nike's Nike. It's not because of the quality of the shoe. It's because of the mind share that they own. Coke and Pepsi.
I've never in my lifetime have I seen an ad from Nike saying how great their shoe is.
Yeah, what their leather is or how their laces. Yeah, exactly. It's all about
we get the best laces in the market.
Exactly. It's about what you can become, the way it makes you feel by owning it, right? And it's like Coke and Pepsi do the same thing. Like you can go out and you could probably put down 20 colas, and they're all about the same. But sure. Pepsi and cola make us feel a certain way. And that's why we have a affinity to their product. And we think it tastes better. They just own our mind share. And I think is this just doesn't apply to real estate. The only thing about real estate is because there's so many of us comparatively to other industries, there's, 4 million roughly licensed real estate agents. we're forced to have to be more innovative with our marketing. And so we're just out ahead of the rest of the world. And we're still trying to figure this out. And, some of us have it figured out. It's still not easy, but the hardest part is just remaining consistent. So back to your question, for me now, it's honestly, I love it. It's really, truly a passion of mine now. But I think for a lot of people, it's really hard to figure out, what do I post about? And am I annoying my audience? They just get in your own head. Do people really care?
Just do
and I'll
it.
tell
Just
you,
do it. Just do it and it'll be right. But just do it.
Just do it. They care more about what you had for breakfast every day than your Monday market update or your new listing. They really do. Yeah. And you got to understand that.
Love it. Hey, you've got a newsletter.
I do.
Tell me, how can I get that? How can
I do? So
receive that information? I
sent the link to your team so hopefully they can put it in the chat or whatever. Okay. So what I do is it's a funny story. I have people that will reach out to me and be like, "Hey Jeff, I have a question, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Did you not see my video?" And they're like, "Oh, damn, I guess I didn't see it. How can I keep up with all your content? You're always posting so much." And I'm like, you know what? That's a good point. So I'm going to create a weekly email newsletter where I share the 3 best value-based posts from the previous week. So it's like, hey, you missed it? Cool, no problem. Here you go. And so I just send 3 videos that I posted to Instagram the previous week that are value-based, something that might help you with your business, and a handful of social media tips. Like right now I'm writing my newsletter for this week and I'm going to give some November tips. Like there's so much content every month that we're just overlooking. And I just kind of give tips and ideas on how to execute it. And so that's what it is. It's really simple.
Love it. And we'll get that link posted in the show notes. If you listen to this on the audio on a podcast, it'll be in there. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be there. If you're watching on Facebook, we'll put it in the chat there as well. Jeff, thank you so much. Really
Always
appreciate your time today.
I love talking about this stuff. So anytime, brother.
Man, that's awesome. CPI community, thank you so much. And I wish for you to have the best day of your life. Be grateful. Go make some good choices. Go help somebody. And do something today to go find a freaking listing. Would you please? God bless you.